Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hope you're doing well. We are continuing our reading of Sahih al Bukhari, Volume 1. We are in the book of Adhan, the Adhan. Let us begin. It should be quite exciting, and I hope you can listen to this as you're commuting, doing other tasks, carpentry, taking care of your fish tank, pruning roses, whatever fun thing it is that you're doing. Let's begin. Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Chapter 1. How the Adhan for Salah prayer was started. And the statement of Allah, quote, "And when you proclaim the call for as-salah, call for the prayer, Adhan, they take it but as mockery and fun. That is because they are a people who understand not." V 558. And also the statement of Allah Azza wa Jal, when the call Adhan is proclaimed for the Salah prayer on the Friday, when the call Adhan is proclaimed for the Salah prayer on the day of Friday, V 629. Okay. Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, reported, the people mentioned the fire and the bell. They suggested those as signals to indicate the time to offer Salah prayers. And by that they mentioned the Jews and the Christians. Then Bilal was ordered to pronounce Adhan for the Salah by saying its wordings twice in doubles, and for the Iqamah, the call for the actual standing for the Salah, in 2 rows, by saying its wordings once in singles. Iqamah is pronounced when the people are ready for the Salah. Okay. Narrated Ibn Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, when the Muslims arrived at Al-Madinah, they used to assemble for as-salah, the prayer, and used to guess the time for it. During those days, the practice of Adhan for Salah prayers had not been introduced yet. Once they discussed this problem regarding the call for Salah, some people suggested the use of the bell, like the Christians. Others proposed trumpet, like the horn used by the Jews. But Umar was the first to suggest that a man should call the people for as-salah. So, Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, ordered Bilal to get up and pronounce the Adhan for as-salah. So Bilal, we know, was the first, and that a man should call the people for prayer. It would be pretty to have like a very nice... Okay, so you know in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, that voice, that vocal, like there's always some woman doing that wailing sound, like, I don't know. There's just a very nice way where you can see a woman making like this. It's like not even words; it's just the sound. So some women have that voice to do Salah type of recitations and whatnot. Chapter 2: Pronouncing the wordings of Adhan for Salah prayers twice in doubles. Narrated Anas, may Allah be pleased with him. Bilal was ordered to repeat the wording of the Adhan for Salah prayers twice in doubles, and to pronounce the wordings of the Iqamah once in singles, except Qad Qama Is-Salah. What is that? I don't know what that is yet. Narrated Anas bin Malik, may Allah be pleased with him. When the number of Muslims increased, they discussed the questions as to how to know the time for as-salah, the prayers, by some familiar means. Some suggested that a fire be lit at the time of Salah prayer, and others put forward the proposal to ring the bell. Bilal was ordered to pronounce the wording of the Adhan twice in doubles, and of the Iqamah once in singles only. Lighting a fire? Light the beacons! Where was Gondor? You'd have to have a huge tower. And then who's going to construct that? How are you going to get the firewood consistently to burn it? I don't know how you're going to do that. In a desert place, not too many trees. To pronounce the wording of Ikama once in singles except Qad Kama is Salah. Narrated Abu Kilaba, Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, said, Bilal was ordered to pronounce the wording of Adhan twice in doubles, and of Ikama once in singles only. The sub-narrator Ishmael said, I mentioned that to Ayyub, and he added to that, except Ikama, i.e. Qad Kama as-Salah, which should be said twice. Chapter 4, Superiority of the Adhan. Narrated Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, said, when the Adhan is pronounced, Satan takes to his heels and passes wind with noise during his flight in order not to hear the Adhan. When the Adhan is completed, he comes back, and again takes to his heels when the Iqama is pronounced. And after its completion, he returns again till he whispers into the heart of the person to divert his attention from his salah prayer, and makes him remember things which he does not recall to his mind before the salah, and that causes him to forget how much he has prayed. So what's interesting about this, when you go to pray, how many random things just come in your head? I have felt that before. Like, I'm like, okay, get ready, and then all of a sudden, this intrusive thought comes, and you're like, what does it have to do with anything right now? And then, when you are done praying, it's just like everything goes, it's like your mind is empty. It's quite strange, actually. Chapter 5. Raising the voice in pronouncing the Adhan. Umar bin Abdul Aziz said to his muadhin, i.e. call maker, pronounce the Adhan clearly and in a straightforward manner, otherwise we will dismiss you. I like the way that's worded. It's like instructions, very concise, direct, and to the point. Narrated Abdul Rahman. Oh, you know what? This reminds me, there's some R&B songs where they're like, hey, yeah. It's so horrible. I'm like, why? And some people will blast it. And they're like, and you're like, stop it. See, even when I make that sound, my parents, they don't like it. Dot baseball. That would be horrible. Narrated Abdul Rahman, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, may Allah be pleased with him, told my father, I see you liking sheep in the wilderness, so whenever you are with your sheep or in the wilderness and you want to pronounce the Adhan for the Salah prayer, raise your voice in doing so. For whoever hears the Adhan, whether a human being or jinn or any other creature, will witness for you on the day of resurrection. Abu Sa'id added, I heard this narration from Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him. Okay, I remember this one. Okay. So the creatures will witness for you, and the jinn as well. Chapter 6, to suspend fighting on hearing the Adhan. Narrated Anas bin Malik, may Allah be pleased with him. Whenever the Prophet, peace be upon him, went out with us to fight in Allah's cause against any nation, he never allowed us to attack till morning, and he would wait and see. If he heard the Adhan, he would postpone the attack, and if he did not hear the Adhan, he would attack them. Anas added, we reached Kabar at night, and in the morning when he did not hear the Adhan for the prayer. He, the Prophet, peace be upon him, rode behind Abi Talha, and my foot was touching that of the Prophet, peace be upon him. That's an interesting one. I wonder if there's a expiation for when you're being attacked. Then you obviously have to fight back, but initiating, right? I think that's what this is getting at. It's not saying you can't fight back, but this is about offensive, not defensive measures, it appears. The inhabitants of Haybar came out with their baskets and spades, and when they saw the Prophet, peace be upon him, they shouted, "Muhammad, by Allah, Muhammad and his army." When Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, saw them, he said, "Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Haybar is ruined. Whenever we approach a hostile nation to fight, then evil will be the mourning of those who have been warned." MashaAllah. Yes. Now that's a potent thing right there. So, I always wondered, what would be like a call for the warpath. And here you can see from the Prophet's, peace be upon him, statements that what things you can say, when you go on a war. Chapter 7, what to say on hearing the Adhan. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, said, "Whenever you hear the Adhan, say just as the Muadhin is saying." Narrated Isa bin Talha that he had heard Muawiyah repeating the words of the Adhan up to "Wa ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah," and I testify that Muhammad is Allah's messenger. Narrated Yahya as above, number 586, and added, "Some of my companions told me that Hisham had said, when the Muadhin said, 'Hayya ala salah,' come for the prayer, Muawiyah said, 'La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah,' there is neither might nor any power except with Allah, and added, 'We heard your Prophet, peace be upon him, saying the same.'" Okay. By the way, there's children playing outside, inside, so I hope I don't get a random soccer ball kicked on my door. Chapter 8, Invocation at the Time of Adhan. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah, may Allah be pleased with him, Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, said, "Whoever after listening to the Adhan says, 'Allahumma rabba hadihida wa tamati wassalatil qa'imati ati Muhammadanil wasilata wal fadilata wab'athu makaman mahmudunanilladhi wa adtahu.' O Allah, Lord of this perfect call, about ascribing partners to you, and of the regular salat prayers, which is going to be established, kindly give Muhammad, peace be upon him, al-wasila, highest position in paradise, al-wasila, highest position in paradise, and al-fadila, extra degree of honor, and raise him to Maqam Mahmud, a station of praise and glory, i.e. the honor of intercession on the day of resurrection, which you have promised him. Then intercession for me will be permitted for him on the day of resurrection." That's a long one. That might be a bit difficult to memorize, but there's hope, inshallah. Chapter 9, To Draw Lots for Pronouncing the Adhan. And it is said that some people differed regarding the pronunciation of Adhan, i.e. who should pronounce the Adhan, so Sa'd drew lots amongst them. Narrated Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, said, "If the people knew the reward for pronouncing the Adhan, and for standing in the first row in congregational salah prayers, and found no other way to get that except by drawing lots, they would draw lots. And if they knew the reward of Dhuhr prayer in the early moments of its stated time, they would race for it, go early. And if they knew the reward of Isha and Fajr early morning prayers in congregation, they would come to offer them even if they had to crawl. I do remember going to Fajr prayers in congregation, they would want to crawl. Now, as we know, women, when you have teeny tots, that's a way more difficult thing to take the little tots that early to the morning Fajr and to make them breakfast, and you can pray at home. But men can head on over there. Chapter 10. Talking during the Adhan. Sulaiman bin Surad talked while pronouncing the Adhan. Al-Hasan said, there is no harm if the Muadhin laughs while pronouncing the Adhan or Iqamah. Interesting. Narrated Abdullah bin al-Harith. Once, hold on though, but I remember hearing if you laugh during your prayers, invalid. I can't remember. I think it was Sheikh Hasim Al-Hakim who I said that from. Forgive me if that's false memory, but sometimes a funny thought will come into my head and I try to avoid giggling. Narrated Abdullah bin al-Harith. Once on a rainy, muddy day, Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, delivered a khutbah, religious talk, in our presence. And when the Muadhin pronounced the Adhan and was going to say, Hayya ala salah, come for the prayer, Ibn Abbas ordered him to say, offer as-salah, the prayers, at your homes. The people began to look at each other surprisingly. Ibn Abbas said, it was done by one who was much better than I, i.e. the Prophet, peace be upon him, for his muadhin, and it is a license. It would be cool to learn more about that one. Chapter 11. The Adhan pronounced by a blind man is permissible when there is a person to inform him about the time of the Salah prayer. Cool. Yeah, because he still has his voice, right? Andrea Bocelli, he's an Italian opera guy, and he's blind. He has a very nice voice. I mean, what is the song? That's the tune of it. It's so famous. And his mom tried to abort him. I have a screenshot in my phone that I was going to talk about. I haven't talked about it yet on the channel though. It was about Andrea Bocelli's life. His mom wanted to abort him. He's born blind, and he becomes a renowned, famous opera singer. And I guide him to Islam. Chapter 11. The Adhan pronounced by a blind man. Narrated Salim bin Abdullah. My father said that Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, said, Bilal pronounces Adhan at night, so keep on eating and drinking sahur till Ibn Maktoum pronounces Adhan. Salim added, he was a blind man who would not pronounce the Adhan unless he was told that the day had dawned. Very cool. Ibn Maktoum. Chapter 12. The Adhan after Al-Fajr dawn. Narrated Hafsa, may Allah be pleased with her. When the Muadhin pronounced the Adhan for Fajr prayer, and the dawn became evident, the Prophet, peace be upon him, would offer a 2 rak'ah light prayer sunnah before the Iqamah of the compulsory congregational Salah prayer. It's always cool when we get hadiths from the other wives, Maimuna and all that. Narrated Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, the Prophet, peace be upon him, used to offer 2 light rak'ah between the Adhan and the Iqamah of the early morning Fajr prayer. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, said, Bilal pronounces the Adhan at night, so keep on eating and drinking sahur till Ibn Maktoum pronounces the Adhan. Ibn Maktum is the blind man. The blind man. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Chapter 13. The Adhan before Al-Fajr dawn. Narrated Abdullah bin Masud, may Allah be pleased with him. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, the Adhan pronounced by Bilal should not stop you from taking suhoor, for he pronounces the Adhan at night, so that the one offering the late night prayer, tahajjud, from among you might hurry up, and the sleeping from among you might wake up. It does not mean that Al-Fajr dawn or As-Subh morning has started. Then the Prophet, peace be upon him, pointed with his fingers and raised them up towards the sky, and then lowered them towards the earth. Like this, Ibn Masud imitated the gesture of the Prophet, peace be upon him. Az-Zahir gestured with his 2 index fingers, which he put on each other and then stretched them to the right and left. These gestures illustrate the way real dawn appears. It spreads left to right horizontally. Does it? I never noticed. I never noticed. I'm just like, I just look out the window and be like, what's going on? Where's that sun? Narrated Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, Bilal pronounces the Adhan at night, so eat and drink suhoor till Ibn Maktum pronounces the Adhan. Chapter 14. How long should the interval between the Adhan and the Iqamah be, and something concerning the person who waits for the Iqamah. Narrated Abdullah bin Mughaffal al-Muzani, may Allah be pleased with him. Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, said thrice, there is a salah prayer between the 2 Adhan and Iqamah, and then while saying it the 3rd time he added, for the one who wants to offer it. Okay, so Iqamah, it's like, okay, everyone's in there, everyone's ready to go, let's go. And it's interesting because I think it can be assumed, some people think of right as the Adhan goes, boom, you can go quick as like that. I wonder, so that's how, like, if you're already in a state of wudu, and then that happens, and then you start offering your rak'ah, I think that would be an example of you being able to offer those 2 rak'ah. At least that's what I'm getting at, I think. Okay, fam, we'll pause here because I'm gonna go get some polenta started. Yeah. Alright. Book of the Adhan. Hayya la salah, hayya la salah. Okay, so we got Bilal. We got Ibn Maktum. Khaybar is ruined. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. There is neither might nor any power except with Allah. So powerful, that phrase. Okay, if you'd like to join my blog and support my content, you can do so by going to my blog, which is www.subscribestar.com/Milahan Archive. Hope to see you there.